What shall we talk about this morning?
I wonder, since this one of our last day, whether we can continue with our discussion with what do we really want to do in the world and the influence of world upon us. As you have, where you were talking there to Jean-Michel the other day, in here, and you have quite
You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
What you want to do in the world afterwards? Is that it? Do you want to talk about that?
Something more.
Something more?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure. I think maybe we could incorporate more into that question.
Yes.
Just asked.
What is that? So I think that people outside want to get in.
also that it seems
Let him finish. He's thinking out. You want to incorporate something more, don't you?
Yes.
What was it?
Could we discuss relationship like here in Brockwood now?
Relationship now in this community at Brockwood.
That topic seems talking about something which is to happen
Rather than what should be now,
or than what is.
what is now. Anything else?
Last Thursday, we mentioned just very briefly our chattering minds and how that interferes with relationship and
Good Lord. All right. Anything else?
And yesterday in discussion with David Bohm, went into You Are the World. I would rather like to go further than that as well if possible.
Poor Dr. Bohm. Huh? I think we could talk about over together the question of whether we are, each one of us here in this small community, flowering, growing, blooming, or are we following a certain narrow groove, and therefore at the end of our life realize that we have never had an opportunity or an event that helps us to flower deeply, and so regret for the rest of our life. Could we that would include, I think, most of our questions, wouldn't it? Right? Not only now at Brockwood as students, and also the educators, all of us, we should ask, I think, whether we are inwardly and perhaps also outwardly, they are really both related together, whether we are growing, not physically tall or getting more strong and all the rest of that, but inwardly, psychologically, flowering. I mean by that word that nothing hinders us, nothing blocks us, prevents us from actually growing deeply inwardly and flowering. Most of us hardly ever flower, grow, bloom. Something happens to our lives, in the course of our lives, that stultifies us, that deadens us, that there is no deep inward nourishment. And perhaps it is because the world around us demands that we become specialists, doctors, scientists, archaeologists, specialists, philosophers, and so on. And so perhaps that may be one of the reasons why psychologically we don't seem to grow immensely. I think this is one of the questions that we should discuss here, talk over together as in a dialogue. What is it, as a small community of teachers and students and all of us together, whether anything is preventing us, whether we are so deeply conditioned by our society, by our parents, by our religion, by our knowledge even, whether all those environmental influences are really preventing or blocking or hindering this blossoming. You understand my question? Huh? You don't understand my question? Look, if I am a Catholic, my mind, my brain, my whole psychological structure is already conditioned, isn't it? My parents tell me I'm a Catholic. I go to the church every Sunday, and there is the Mass, all the, the beauty of it, the scent, the perfume, the society, good hats and good dress and watching each other and all that, and the intoning of the priests and all that conditions the mind. And therefore, there is never a flowering. You understand? I move along a certain groove, a certain path, a certain system. And that very path, that very system, that very activity is limiting. And therefore there is never a blossoming. You understand now my question? Huh? Is that what is happening here? Are we so heavily conditioned by the various accidents and incidents and pressures and assertions of parents and all the rest of it? Is that what is preventing us from flowing easily, happily, growing? If it is that, then does Brockwood here help you to break down your conditioning? You follow my question now? If it does not, then what's the point of it? You understand? What's the point of Brockwood? If you are going to turn out like so many millions of people who have never felt or inquired or lived in this vast sense of deepening, flowing, blooming, flowering. You understand my question? Bene? Do you? Please, this is a dialogue. You know, I'm not giving a talk.
Okay. It's outside. There is so much pressure, you know.
Too much pressure.
There is too much pressure, and you can't.
Then you say
even though
there's
you're clear about it.
there's too much pressure. Hmm?
Yeah.
Go into it slowly, inquire into it. If you had no pressure, would you do anything? Would you study? Would you pay even attention now? I am pressuring you, you understand? I'm not actually pushing you into a corner, but I'm pointing out to you. And that may be also a pressure. Because you don't want to look. You want to have fun in life. You think you are a special person, or, you know, that you want to do something, and therefore you neglect everything else. And if you had no pressure at all, of any kind, would you be active? Or you would become more and more lazy, indifferent, and gradually wither away. Though you may have a husband, wife, children, house and jobs and all the rest of it, inwardly, the blossoming never takes place. You follow? So, is one receiving here the right kind of pressure? You understand? The right kind. Not the compulsive pressure, not the imitative pressure, not the pressure of success, climbing the ladder, becoming somebody, but the pressure that helps you to grow inwardly. You understand what are you following? And if there is no flowering, then one lives an ordinary, mundane life and dies at the end of 50, 60 or 80 years. That's the usual life of average person. Have you noticed that? And when you observe all this, what is your reaction? What do you say about it?
What's the meaning of all this? I mean, whether it is meaningful to live that way.
No, Tulki, look, oh boy, just look. You know, as you grow older, very few people are happy. There's too much pressure. There's competition. There is 1,000 people for one job. And overpopulation, everything is in the world is becoming more and more dangerous, you understand? And when you observe all this, what is your response to it?
getting older, I've been watching how my parents seem to me to be getting, I see more of their insecurities and sort of just how they're running around without any meaning to their life. And I feel, in looking at that,
So
I
you are
don't want
saying,
to be like that when I'm
so
younger.
most people in the world, you are saying, are seeking security, physical security,
Yes.
and perhaps psychological security. And will security, both biological as well as psychological security, give you this sense of flowering? You understand? I'm using the word flowering in the sense growing. You know, like a flower that grows in the field without any hindrance. Now, are you seeking security both? No, are you seeking security psychologically? You know, inwardly, depending on somebody, depending on belief, an identification with a nation, with a group, or learning a specific technological subject and working at it, and that will give you security inwardly also. Are you seeking psychological security in some kind of knowledge? So you have to ask all these questions to find out, haven't you? Will security, is there such thing as psychological security? You understand my question? Do you? I depend on my husband or wife for many, many reasons: comfort, sex, encouragement. When I feel lonely, depressed, there's somebody who says, all right, you're doing very well, pats me on the back and say, well, how nice you are. And that makes me feel more comfortable. So gradually I begin to be attached and depend on her or him. And in that relationship, there is certain security. Is there security in that relationship at all? You understand my question? Please, have a dialogue with me. Discuss it with me.
Seems like it is very fragile.
Huh?
It is a very fragile
It
situation.
is very fragile. But is there permanent security in any relationship at all? You will fall in love, whatever that word may mean. And for a few years, you are attached to each other. You depend on each other, both biologically, psychologically, in every way. And in that relationship, you are seeking the continuity of that feeling all the time, aren't you? Aren't you? At least you hope to. But before you completely tie yourself in a knot, which is called falling in love and all the rest of it, mustn't you inquire whether there is any security in any relationship between human beings? Which doesn't mean hopeless, depressing loneliness. Because one is lonely, uncomfortable by oneself, insufficient in oneself, afraid that or that you cannot live alone by yourself. So you gradually begin to attach yourself because you're frightened. And so what happens? When you are attached, you are equally frightened, right? Because you may lose your attachment. That person may run away from you, may fall in love with somebody else. So I think it's very important to ask whether in relationship is there security? And in relationship, what is love? You're following? Is love a sense of great satisfaction, great security in love? You understand? Is there security in relationship? And if you find there is no security in relationship, then you will have to ask, is there security in love? You understand? Have you understood, ho capito? Bene? No? You haven't understood? All right, we'll go at it. I'm attached to you. I like you. I fall in love with you. I want to get married, have children, sex, and all the rest of it. And this attachment, is it permanent, lasting? You understand my question? Or it is very fragile, very shaky, uncertain. I want to make it certain, but in reality it's very uncertain. Right? So that's one point in relationship. And we say in relationship there is love. Right? Now, is there security in love? And what do we mean by love? You understand all this? Are we going together in this, or am I talking to myself? Are we getting bored? So I want to find out whether my question, first question is it possible to bloom, to flower, to grow, to be completely, over the hills and dancing? That's what I want to find out in life. Or is life always depressing, lonely, miserable, violent, stupid? You follow? That's the first thing one wants to find out. And if Brockwood is helping you to bloom, and you say, in Brockwood, there is relationship with each other. You can't help it. We see each other every day. And in this relationship, you might fall in love with somebody. And you get attached to that person. You're following this? When you're attached, you want that attachment to continue, don't you? To last endlessly till both of you collapse at the end of it. And you have to find out if there is, in that relationship, there is anything permanent. Is that relationship permanent? You understand my question? Come on, wake up. Right. And you say that it is not permanent, is it? How do you know it's not permanent? I may get married, go to the church to be married, or register my marriage. But in that relationship, is there a continuity of real, without any conflict, without any quarrels, without isolation? You follow all that. So you say there isn't any, right? Why do you say it? I want to find out why you say it. Will you say this when you have fallen in love and married first year? Huh? That there is no security in this? What? Will you? Or only after a dozen years or 5 years, say, oh my God, there is no security at all in this. And also you have to find out whether in this relationship of insecurity, you understand, of uncertainty, always the fear, boredom, the habits, repetition, seeing the same face over and over and over again for 50, 20, 30 years. And if that in that relationship, will you blossom? You understand my question? Will you grow? Will you be the most extraordinarily beautiful total entity? And also you have to find out whether in so-called love, which is a much used word and spoiled, degraded, whether in that feeling will you blossom? Come on.
I wonder because, like, if you have a relationship with someone, do we give time to a investigation into to know if there is a security or not? Because so first of all, what will be in this relationship is much more a relation between two images. You know, I have to look good to that person.
Yes,
I don't have time to investigate any further. Just to show my image.
Are you saying we have images of the man and the woman, and in those images, or pictures, or conclusions, we want those images to continue permanently?
Not necessarily. I mean, there is too much. There is too much superficial things is involved in that relationship. Then it's a real investigation into the matter of why there is to this relationship, taking apart the image and
Jean-Michel, écoutez-moi. What we're talking about is, first, do you see the importance that one must flower? The importance, the truth of it, the reality of it. the necessity of it, the beauty of it, that one must flower. Right. Does relationship as it now is between two human beings, will that relationship help you to flower? That's one point. Wait. And we also say we love each other. Will that love nourish the flowering of the human mind, human heart, human qualities? You understand? So, and we are also asking, does Brockwood, being here, help you to grow, to flourish? Not technologically only, not become a specialist or this or that, but inwardly, psychologically, under the skin inside you, that there is nothing that blocks you, hinders you. You are not neurotic, you are not lopsided. You are a whole, complete human being, growing, flowering. So you have to ask now, what is love? Right? What do you think it is? The problem, listen to me. You love your parents and parents love you. At least they say so and you say so. Are we on dangerous grounds? Huh? Are we? My question is, do they? Don't reply. If they love you, they will see to it from the moment you're born till you die that you are unconditioned, that you flower, because you're a human being, because you are the world. And if you do not flower, you're caught in the world, you're destroying other human beings. If the parents loved you, they would see that you're properly educated, not technologically, not getting a job only, but inwardly, that you have no conflict. And that you are not killed in wars. You understand all this? All this is implied when I love my daughter or son. I don't want him to be educated and shot to pieces in 20 years' time and put a marble or a cross in a rotten field. You understand all this? Or I don't want him to become a first-class businessman, getting a lot of money. What for? Or marvelous specialist. He may help a little bit here and there, outwardly. Better bridges, better doctors, better medicine, better, all the rest of it. So what is love? You understand my question? Huh? What do you think it is? Come on. Isn't it very important for you to find out? Huh? Please. Huh? Don't you want to find out when you have observed people around you, parents, friends, your grandmothers and all the rest of it, the world around you, and they all use the word love, and yet they quarrel there is competition. They are willing to destroy each other. You follow? Is that love? What is love to you then? God say, come on.
That's what makes it difficult to talk about, because we always hear it used in that way.
What do you feel? Talk about what you feel. What is love to you? I'm sure you use the word love, don't you? A great deal. What does it mean? You know the word hate, the meaning of that word. And you know the feeling of it, don't you? Antagonistic, angry, jealous. All that's part of hate. Even competition is part of hate. Right? So, you know the feeling of what it means to hate people. And you can put it down in words, very well. Now, is love opposite of that? You understand my question?
Just the feelings are opposite.
Huh?
The feelings are opposite.
I know.
If you're repelled
But
by
therefore,
that,
can you have both in your mind, in your heart, hate and love?
well, the love that we use, the talk.
Stick to it. Do you have such feelings, hate and love together? Or not together? One is kept into one corner, the other is another corner. I hate somebody and I love somebody. Huh? So if you have love, can you hate anybody? Or can you kill something, kill people? Throw bombs, you have all the rest that's happening in the world. So, let's go back to the first question. Do we see both the educator and the one that is being educated? Do we all see the great importance, the necessity that each human being, all of us here, grow, flower, mature not merely physically, mature deeply, inwardly, you know? If you don't, then what's the point of it all? Then what's the point of your getting educated? Passing an exam and getting a degree and getting a job, if you're lucky. And setting a house. Will all that help you? Help a human being or help each other to blossom? Oh, come on. So, if you are my daughter and my son, that's the first thing I would talk to you about. Right? I would say, look around you, your friends in the school, the neighbors. See what's happening around you. Not according to what you like or what you don't like. Just look at the facts, see exactly what is happening without any distortion. People that are married, unhappy, quarrels, endless, all that goes on. Boy and a girl, they have also their trouble. And the division of people, races, groups, the religious groups and the scientific groups and the business group and the artistic group. You follow? Everything around you is broken up, right? Do you see that? And who has broken it up? You follow? Next question. Human beings have done this. That is, thought has done it, right? Thought that says, I'm a Catholic. Thought that says, I'm a Buddhist. Thought that says, I'm an Arab, I'm a Jew, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Christian. Thought that has created this. So thought is, in its very nature, in its very action, must bring about fragmentation. Do you see that? Okay. Do you see that? Thought, in its very nature and in its very action, must bring about fragmentation. Not only in yourself, but outwardly. Do you see that? Or is it too difficult, this?
So, I'm not a student. I can answer yes to that question. Yes, it can be.
No, so you're not much. I'm asking each person, the students I'm asking this. Do you actually see the fact? Please listen carefully. Do you actually see the fact that thought, in its very nature and action, must bring about fragmentation? Do you see the fact? Or do you see the idea? You follow? Which is it? Is it an idea or is it a fact? It's an idea, isn't it? He said it's an idea. Why do you make of it into an idea? You understand my question? I say, look around you. The wars, the terrors, bombs, violence, and in every house there is this constant disturbance between in relationship. The competitive society, the commercial society, consumerism. Do you see it as a fact, as a reality, as this, or is it an abstraction which is called idea? You understand? And if it is an idea, why do you make it into an idea? You understand my question? Huh?
If I can come back to that question, whether thought is fragmentary, I would say which do the fragmentary is the conditioning, not the thought itself. It's just a mechanism.
No, Tunki, just listen. Why is thought fragmentary? Why is thought in itself limited, fragmentary, broken up, in itself, not its result? Why is thought in itself limited? Huh?
structure how it works. I mean, it's taking something from the past, it's comparing with other things. It's
Look, isn't thought the result of time? Be sure, don't say, don't agree. Just observe it, find out. Isn't thought the result or the movement of time? That is thought, which is memory, response of memory, which you all agree, don't you? You see that. Memory, experience, knowledge, which is all that, is the past, isn't it? Modified in the present and goes on. So it is a movement of time, isn't it? Oh, come on. Huh? So, because it is of the past, it must be fragmentary. Thought is not, can never be the whole. Huh?
because this is the past, it must be fragmentary.
Look, Tunki, I have learnt English. From the age of 9, I've learnt English and other languages. And that's a memory, isn't it? It has taken me a few years to learn it, right? And stored up in the brain, the words, the syntax, how to put the sentences together. All that took time, didn't it? And any thought springing from that period of time is limited, isn't it? Now, so thought is not whole, complete. Right? Thought can never be complete because it's always limited. No? Do you see this? No, I won't. Please see this. Not as an idea, but as an actuality. We said thought is the response of memory. Memory is stored up in the brain through experience, through constant accumulation of knowledge, which is memory, right? And when you ask something, that memory responds, right? Do you see that? So thought must be limited because memory is limited, knowledge is limited, time is limited. My God. Huh? Do you see this? Thought has created the problems in the world, right? You are Dutch, I'm German. You are British, is Chinese. Thought has created this, right? This division. Thought has created the religions. The thought that says Jesus is the greatest savior, and they go to India, they say, sorry, who is that gentleman? I don't know him at all. Huh? We have our God, much better than yours. Which is, thought has created their God, as thought has created the Christian. So, thought has created the wars, the instruments of war. So thought is responsible for all this, right? Huh?
It's the wrong conditioning of thought, which makes this. I mean, all these ideas, as you give an example.
It's not idea, it's a fact.
Yes,
Not
I mean-
yes, yes. Get on with it. I'm not going to get on with it. I won't stick to this till you see this. Don't be impatient with me. But I'm asking you, do you see this fact? That you are Indonesian, and that I'm from India. We have different colors, different, all the rest of it. But the division, right? Do you see the division in India, the Muslim and the Hindu? Who created it?
The conditioning of the idea.
What?
The conditioning of the idea, not the thought itself. I mean, I may say also, yes, I know the difference, but I don't care. I mean, then there's
You
no
don't care, but the people who hate each other care.
Yes, but there's something behind that thought. I mean, it's
I'm
not
telling you, what is behind the thought? Conditioning. My parents have said to me, I'm a Brahmin, I'm a Hindu. And your parents have said, you are a Christian. Right?
I think there is deeper than that, the instinct to belong to a group, which
That's
is
it.
more,
Wait,
which is-
the
which is
instinct
more-
to belong to a group. Why? Because that's much safer to belong to a community.
that is more the
I mean,
core of the
wait.
whole trouble.
That is because you have recognized, identified yourself with a small group. Why don't you identify yourself with the total human being, with all the human beings in the world? Why small group? You understood? So I'm pointing out, thought has created all these human, psychological, and worldly problems. There is no denying it. Do you see that as a fact? Not as an idea. As a fact, as when you have a toothache, that's a fact. You don't say, well, it isn't an idea. You say, well, I think about my toothache. So, thought, let's put it that way, is thought love? Is thinking, can thinking bring about love? You understand? Huh? Please, we are discussing this. What do you say?
Do you have to think if you love somebody?
You understand? I'm asking you, can love be cultivated by thought? Huh? Huh?
Well,
It could be, it's another conditioning though. If you cultivate by thought.
Listen, you're not answering. We said thought is fragmentary, right? Will always be fragmentary. The League of Nations, what is the United Nations is fragmentary, put together by thought. And I'm asking the next question. Thought is being fragmented, and in its activity, in its action, it must bring about fragmentation. Can that thought cultivate, bring about love? What do you say? No. Huh? No. Now, when you say no, be careful. I'm going to trip you on this. When you say no, is it again an idea or an actuality? It's not. If it is an actuality, listen, if it is an actuality, it's something that is what is, then you are, where love is concerned, there is no movement of thought. You know, do you understand this? Oh, no, it's a little bit, huh? Not understand up here, but inwardly, deeply. Look, be careful. You say, if thought is not love, then what is our relationship? Then what is relationship? Which now is based on thought, isn't it? Huh? If thought is not love, then what do you do with the actual relationship that you have now? You understand my question? I say to myself, I see the fact, not the idea, the fact that thought is not love. But I'm married, I've got children, I've got my mother. My mother, my children, my wife, we have images about each other. Interacting relationship. That interacting relationship is the action of images which I have made about my grandmother, about my wife, about my children. And this I call love. Right? I love my grandmother, I love my wife, I love my children. Now, I see this relationship is based on thought, on image. Then, and I also see very clearly that love is not the product of thought. Love cannot be thought. Then what happens to my relationship with my grandmother, with my wife and my children? Is this too difficult?
How do I see that?
What do you mean, how do I see it? There's no how. It isn't a mechanical thing, old boy. Don't you see this actually, Tunki? Huh? No? Are you saying no? Be simple. If you say no, what? What are you saying?
That strongly, as you say, that love has nothing to do with all that. Well,
love has nothing to do with thought. Full stop. Because I see very clearly thought is a movement in fragmentation. I see that very clearly. It's a fact, it's an actuality, not an idea. But I am married, I've got children, I've got grandmother. When I realize that my relationship has been based on images and thought, I see it. Then what takes place when I see the actual fact? I wonder if that's what, you understand what I'm saying, some of you? You've all gone to sleep. Is it lunchtime? No, right.
that love, which I know before, using that word, well, we're going to be in trouble in using that word. That word is used that that relationship with images, which is called, usually called love. But then, would you mean that love, which you're saying is different than this?
Look, Tunki, I've been repeating this till from this morning, which is this, Tunki. I am married, I fell in love, whatever that may mean, and I'm married. I've been married for a number of years with a lot of children. I have an image about my wife, right? I've created it. She has nagged me, she has bullied me, she's dominated me, or I've dominated her, or I've bullied her. You follow this interaction going on sexually and all the rest of it. I have built a picture about her, and she has built a picture about me. That's a fact. That is, this image building is the movement of thought. Right? Right? Don't move unless you see this, don't move from that. Right? Now, you come along and tell me thought is a movement of fragmentation. And you explain to me very carefully why it is. Because it is bound by time, bound by memory, bound by knowledge, therefore it's very limited. And I see that. And next step is, I say, what am I to do when I have seen that in my relationship with my grandmother, wife and children? What am I? You follow? You've understood this? Some of you, huh? So what happens when I realize that my relationship with my wife or girl or boy or whatever it is a movement of time and fragmentation? You follow? Do you see this? Right. If you see it, then what is love? Is love the same thing as this? Love a fragmentation. Love is a picture, an image, a remembrance. This is too difficult.
The first feeling of, say, in love, or you see something beautiful, that is love. But then the thought would like to crystallize those.
You see something beautiful. Do you? Don't say yes. Something beautiful. Do you actually see something beautiful? That tree, listen, when you look at a tree or a woman or a man or a cloud or a sheet of water, do you see how extraordinarily beautiful it is? And remain with that. Do you? Do you see it? Or is it an idea that's beautiful?
No. At that moment I do really see it.
Huh?
At that moment I do really
Now,
see it.
you see it. What takes place at that moment?
There's no words anymore.
Which means what? No thought. Huh? Right?
Yes.
So beauty takes place when there is no movement of thought. Huh? You agree to this? Yes. Why? Huh? You're so all together in this. Huh? How extraordinary. Wait, Tuki. When you see something beautiful, there is the absence of thought. Now, can you stay and not wander away from it stay in that moment, watching that cloud. Because there is no thought in operation. There is no chattering. Thought is totally absent when you see something extraordinarily beautiful. Right? Now, watch it carefully. Listen carefully. Please listen carefully. The cloud, with its light, with its immensity, has taken you over. Right? Right? Do you see this? The cloud has absorbed you, which means you, in that absorption, are absent. Huh? Do you see this? Huh? Come on. Right. Next step. A child is absorbed in the toy. Right? Remove the toy, he's back to his mischief. Right? That's exactly what has happened. The cloud has taken you, absorbed you, and when the cloud goes away, you are back to yourself. Right? Now, listen carefully. Can you, without being absorbed by the mountain, by the cloud, by the tree, by the song of a bird, by the beauty of land, not be absorbed, but be totally empty in yourself? Ha capito? Vous avez compris? You understand? Remove the toy, the child is back into his naughtiness. Tearing, yelling, shouting, calling. But give him a toy, the toy takes him over. I'm asking you, without the toy, and therefore nothing to absorb you, can there be an absence of yourself? You understand? Oh, do answer this. Find out, for God. See the beauty of this. You understand? So beauty is when you are not. Right? Beauty is when thought is absent. Now, love is not thought, is it? You see the connection? You begin to see the connection? I won't discuss it. If you see the connection, leave it. I love you. You have absorbed me. Because I want you look nice, you smell nice, you've got nice hair. My glands demand all kinds of sex and so on, so on. So you have absorbed me. I fall in love with you. That is the absorption. Very good idea. And I cling to you. I love you. But my old self asserts itself, say, yes, that was very nice 2 years ago, but now I dislike her. I wish I fell in love with her face and she can't, look what has happened. You follow? So please see the truth of this, that where there is beauty, there is total absence of thought. So love is total absence of me. Right? Got it? If you have got it, you have drunk at the fountain of life. You understand?
So, if there is any feeling, what does the feeling it include when you've been absorbed, or is it another word just which was
So, Jean-Michel, écoutez, what is feeling? Is there, if there is no thought, would you have feelings? Look at it careful, look at it. If there was no... Is beauty feeling? Is beauty, if we said beauty is without thought. And is there a feeling when there is no thought? Look, Tunki, leave all the rest. Get the kernel of it, the meat of it, the inside of it. Instead of putting all the details together. You put the detail, the details can come later. But see the truth of the one thing, that is, where there is beauty, there is no thought. Where there is love, there is the absence of me, who's chattering problems, anxiety, fear. You follow? When there is absence of me, there is love. Right?
Look at a cloud, it goes and you fall back into yourself. I understand.
That's right.
That step.
I
haven't understand.
Look, Jean-Michel, have you seen a boy, little boy or little boy, give the little girl a doll, perfectly happy. She's quiet, not restless, not crying. Give the boy a toy, complicated toy, he'll take an hour over it. He's forgotten to be naughty. So what has happened there? The toy, the doll has become all important. Right? Right? So when you see a cloud, or something beautiful, or water, or a bird flying in the air, when you see that, what am I'm tired repeating. When you see that, what takes place? Your chattering stops, doesn't it? Because that's much more interesting. When you see the film, Western film or whatever film you see, you're looking at it. You don't think about all your problems, all your worries, your fears. You're just absorbed by that, aren't you? Stop the film and you're back to yourself. No?
And then what? There's another to see.
What? What?
No, because if I take the conditioning, I
So
think
you see, if you push this much further, ideas are your toys. Ideals are your toys. Religions are your toys. And they take over all you. But Moment they are questioned, disturbed, you're back to yourself and you get frightened. So, I've said everything.
Is there one thing which is out of this world of toys?
I've showed it to you. It's okay.
Yes,
Not yes, but. I'm going to stick to you. Look, Tunki. We said, listen carefully, please. We said thought has created this world, right? The wars, the businessman, the artist, the politician, the crook. Society has made all this. Society is our relationship to each other, which is based on thought. So thought is responsible for this awful mess, right? Is it so, or is it an idea? I mean, it must be. You say if it is an idea, then you're not looking at the actual facts, right? So, move from there. Thought, we said, is broken up. Whatever it does will break up. And do you see that as an actuality, as something real there? As you see me. Me is not an idea, I'm sitting here. You might like to make an idea of me. But the actual fact is I'm sitting here.
I would say the certain part, the mechanical thought is just part, but the something which uses behind it.
You have nothing else but mechanical thought. When that mechanical thought stops, then there's something else. But you can't say, yes, that's mechanical, let's look into the other. That has to stop. And that stops, say for instance, when you see beauty, something like a vast range of mountains with snow-covered peaks and all that. The majesty of it, the grandeur of it takes you over, right? And when that mountain is not there, you're back home with your quarrels, that's all. So I'm saying to Tunke, please find out, sit down, meditate, go into it for yourself, that where there is beauty, there is a total absence of this mischievous thought. And love is like that too. Is that enough?
Maybe we can do it. I mean, the next question will be maybe from, if we are doing with this on Monday or something, which that's all very well in a real quiet place, but
It's all very well, Tunki says, but I've got to go back to Java, to Indonesia, and I have to deal with my uncle and aunts and mothers and grandmothers and all the rest of it, and the money making. What am I to do? Right? Is that it? Is that it?
I mean, it's a preparative thought, but
I'm not saying that. I'm asking you, is that it? Why don't you say it loud? Yes. That's the problem with all of us. What are you going to do? When you realize, when you see actually that thought is the most mischievous thing, except technology and all the rest of it, this is the most deadly thing in relationship, and therefore destroys love. What are you going to do? You have to earn money, you follow, a livelihood. huh? Which demands thought. So you exercise thought there. When you have got to go to dentist, you exercise thought there. When you have to buy a suit or a dress, you compare. This is better material, this is cheaper, that requires thought. But you realize thought is deadly in relationship. Right? Huh? That's all. Facts. Don't ask any more questions. Facts. I think that's enough, don't you? Hmm?